Okay, good evening, folks. I could not make it online today earlier. I wish I could have made it online earlier today, so I could have originally had the plan of doing the Final Fantasy 14 bit and then the Resident Evil bit, but I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do the Resident Evil one, because I need to spend way more time on that one just to make any progress. So I'm going to try to see if we can get the Final Fantasy 14 out of the way. Two things in Final Fantasy 14 I want to do. And that is the new VC dungeon, which we only need to do one run of, and then there's the Hildebrand quest, which finally came out. So instead of doing them after every expansion, they finally released another two set of quests. Usually they have a trial later, but I think we just have to enjoy the story for a bit. That's all we gotta do. So I already got the game up and running in the background, so yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I was hoping to do Resident Evil for at least an hour or two today, but I am not gonna have the time for that. Also, I'm gonna try to do a test. I'll try to see if I can play the game beyond 60 frames. At least maybe push it to 65 frames. I don't mind playing the game at 60, but if I can at least push the game to 65 frames, maybe that'll give us a little bit more. Maybe at least the camera work will be a little bit more smooth. I mean, just a little bit more. That's all. So, here we go. I got Final Fantasy 14 already running in the background, and we're gonna go through this right away. So, let me just make sure that... Sometimes the display capture works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's working this time. Apparently for older games, some older games display capture does not work, but game capture works fine. So just a quick recap for those that are not aware of how I play Final Fantasy 14 is I finally, I mean it's been a while now, but I feel really secure of finishing Island Sanctuary. This is like an island. It's basically sort of like having an apartment or a house in the game. It's not like having an apartment or a house, but I think it's close enough. All I got, I mean, and the grind took like at least a month or two just to get it to rank 20. I don't know if they're gonna revisit this, but I'm just happy that I managed to reach it to rank 20. I did start doing this when it was already finally fully patched back in Endwalker. I saw the patch notes back then, and it's a good thing by the time I got into this, they already finished patching all the content into it. I got all the mounts in this, and all the little goodies here. And I got more than enough currency, because I'm not going to use any of this. So, I'm not going to buy any more mounts, because that took forever. Anyway, we're going to be trying to do this Merchant Tale VC dungeon thing. So, all we got to do is do the one quest for it. I mean, obviously, you can do multiple runs for it just to kill time. But I am not too crazy about this. So let's see if we're lucky. So this just came out recently. Apparently, the game only has like 4. There's only 4 VC dungeons. So yeah, let's just see if we can get at least one party matching going. I hope we can get a party. It just came out recently. I like the older ones. Less than 5 minutes. Okay. Should not have a problem queuing then. As for Hildebrand itself, we're gonna go back to Solution 9. I mean, well, that didn't take very long. Alright. Yeah, if you try to do the old VC dungeons, those I bet are... I don't think you're gonna find people that easily for the older content. But for the newest one, no problem. Everybody just wants to unlock it and see what there is to offer. It's amazing how this... I do have to admire the artists that work for this game. Sure, the storytelling has been a mixed bag, but at least the game continues to do interesting designs. Everything that, you know, that continues to interest you, visually at least. Again, you can repeat this as many times as you want until you do all the routes, which is nice, I guess. And this is not like a normal dungeon. It's a much shorter. I don't know how much variety they put into this dungeon. They release it in patches, which is nice. So the next quest probably has a build-up of story to the next expansion, whatever that will be. Alrighty. This is cool. That's a nice transition. And the loading screens are not that long either. Looks like Legend of Zelda, but it isn't. Okay. Yep, this color scheme. It does look like Legend of Zelda in a way. Also, the skybox clearly looks like a painting. Again, whoever is working at Square Enix in this game, I'm glad they are still keeping this going. And it's a solid game still after all these years. Apparently other Square Enix's games haven't been as noteworthy besides Final Fantasy, so... Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Shadowbringers in a way, but this is clearly not Shadowbringers. Definitely is... This variant dungeon probably has strong inspiration from Legend of Zelda. I would not be surprised. It looks kind of similar, especially from the newer games that Legend of Zelda did. But it isn't. Whoops. Should have been on the other side, but that's okay. I don't know if those two can revive me, but I'm pretty sure they can switch jobs during the run. So if you've done enough dungeon runs in this game, you can kind of tell where it's going. You just you basically learn patterns where you gotta go. At least we get to watch. I don't know how many different types of variant. I don't know how many types of boss fights you're gonna do, depending on the route you take. But hopefully, I actually haven't done the previous ones in full, so. Oh, and because it's a Zen Walker, level 90s. I like the music. So. Still probably the best mid-dungeon music in this game so far. Thankfully, this is not a high-end trial. I can only imagine how difficult those can be. That's an interesting mechanic. You just gotta keep running, and I think I should have stayed in the inner circle instead. Oh well. I think if we do fail this fight, we can at least redo it. Thankfully, the easy part comes in after this. We just gotta do 2 quests. Just 2 quests to Hildebrand. So it should not be too bad. But honestly, well, those two are still alive. I mean, they can get health. They can get health, because that is a VC dungeon. It's not like a normal dungeon run, but that makes the fight go a lot longer. So it is possible to do so. Yeah, the mechanics themselves are not that bad once you do them enough times. But the high-end ones, I think that's the main appeal for some people in this game. There's a lot of them, but I have never done the high-end trials personally. About 36% health left. Wouldn't surprise me if these two players have already done this already. All we can do is watch and wait. Unlike 3 boss fights, there's only like 2 in VC dungeons, if I am not mistaken. Or maybe there's 3, I don't remember. Yeah, you do get abilities like raising people even if you are a DPS, besides the normal jobs. Not knowing the mechanics the first time, you're gonna fail. You will die. Same thing that's gonna happen in that Resident Evil game as well. You got different types of, you got different boss types as well that you got to They're very specific AI, and eventually we'll beat them, whether it's easy or high difficulty. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is possible to beat these boss fights solo, but because of the amount of health, it'll likely take much longer to beat. Much longer. So it becomes a slugging match in a way. And we've been like doing this dungeon for like 10 minutes now. How much health does this boss now have? About 20, so less than a quarter. Sounds like wouldn't surprise me if this player has already done this before and already knows exactly where to go in these mechanics. Unless you look up videos or do these many times, you're not gonna know the mechanics the first time. You won't. These are not the most difficult, but I can only imagine how difficult the high-end trials are going to be. It's basically the similar boss fights on normal difficulty, but a lot harder. You gotta be on the mark, otherwise you will die, and your whole party will die. It's a team effort. At least it's not PvP though. If the servers do act up, oh boy, that can ruin boss fights really easily. So the whole rhythm of it basically gets tossed into oblivion, I hear. Never seen it personally, but I'm pretty sure there's videos showing what happens if the servers struggle and you're doing an important run. It's been 4 to 7 minutes now. Yeah. I mean, the fight itself, if you know the mechanic, it's not that bad. But the amount of times you gotta hit, you gotta cause damage, it just goes on and on and on. And basically repeats itself until eventually you succeed. But 7% health left. After this, we can press OK and respawn. I forgot that I could have used Variant Cure here. I could have used that. Oops. Almost done. Again, the fight's not that difficult, but the amount of time it takes to do damage just to clear, that's the tedious part. Oh, don't tell me these two players are AFK. Hmm. Lost one player. Oh, that is a new name. That is a new name, Anna. Are you a big fan? Are you a big fan or follower to this game? It's good to see you, Anna. I wasn't planning on starting this late today, and I usually have a suit and tie to dress because I like to. Unfortunately, I just have a community shirt today. Unfortunately, I'm just being casual. But yeah, I'm all caught up with this game. Welcome to this little show of ours that I've been running for the last 4 years. May not be as big as the other channels out there, but I'm glad to still be here. I'm basically doing this new variant dungeon here. And it does remind me of the new Legend of Zelda game. Similar looking backgrounds. Obviously not the same, but hey, it's cool. I'm all caught up with this game, which took me like 3 years. Well, Anna, I'm glad that you decided to take your chance with this little channel of mine. I wish more people knew about me with all the videos that I posted, but I'm glad to be me. I don't put on the. I try not to be obnoxious, which can be very difficult. So I was gonna do that new Resident Evil game as well tonight, but yeah. But unfortunately, I had to rest. I would have started like 3 or 4 hours ago, but I had to rest. Oh, that player just came back. Nice. Yeah, when it comes to the side quests in this game, I haven't done most of them. I only did the main stuff, like Hildebrand and the main trials and all that. And I'm at the latest story when it comes to this game. Over 4 years, Anna. Over 4 years. I don't pander into doing the annoying, cringy bits. I'm happy to just be by myself, be myself. Oh, sorry, you know, not be obnoxious or that. I hope you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So. I mean, honestly, the last 2 months, I took it easy. I was just mentally tired. It's not because of what's going on with this website or YouTube, but mentally I was just tired. So, and I'm glad and very fortunate to have made videos, in the best moment that I have done in the last 4 years, even if it's not something that's gonna catch everyone's attention. And it also took me like three years just to even create emotes like these without forcing myself too much. There is a short story to these theme emotes and why I made those faces, but there's a reason for them. It's good to see you again, Rugzukin. So Rugzukin, quick question for you: Does this map look like Legend of Zelda to you in a way? Unfortunately, I'm not interested in banners and overlays. Unfortunately, you're not the only one that's tried to get me to create more artwork. I've already done enough artwork already. Yeah, this is the latest variant dungeon that you can do in this game. Yeah, in this MMORPG, Rugzukin, you can take multiple paths. That's why they call it the variant dungeon. VC, they call it. So this is not like a normal dungeon where one path is gonna take you to the end. No, there are multiple ways. Yeah, this is the latest content that they released like yesterday. I was gonna do this earlier today, but unfortunately I was tired, so yeah. Yeah, this game is over 10 years old. Can you believe that, Muzukin? I mean, the story in this game has been a bit of a mixed bag, but yeah. Thank you, Anna, but I'm not interested. Honestly, when it comes to artwork and stuff like that, I'm pretty content already with what I have. And you know those emotes that I did earlier? I did not get a designer to do that. Only some of the backgrounds and the transition singers I had to do. And I honestly do not need any more of those, so. I imagine it's a struggle to get people to do work, but the whole the whole live thing is already so oversaturated, and most people cannot do consistency for years to come. And in my personal opinion, not all, some of the bigger channels do not deserve all that fame. So when I sometimes hear of them, I don't see why they're popular. Oh, but that's just me. I'm just gonna digress from there. When it comes to Final Fantasy XIV in particular, you only need to run this game at 60 frames per second. But I did push this game to run at least 80 frames per second, so I can get a little bit more. But the frame rate does go down if you do got a lot of people in an area doing an event in the open world. So, but at least I care about this game and the storyline that has presented so far. So, yeah, in the VC dungeons, you only get 2 bosses, if I'm not mistaken. Just 2, instead of the 3. That boss looks like a Street Fighter character. If you're aware of Street Fighter 6 or Xuken, this boss looks so similar to that one particular. I forgot the name. It's always an honor to see people join in and actually are interested in the show, which are not always easy to come by, especially with everything oversaturated nowadays. Also, that's a new visual right there. Okay. Thankfully, this is not a high-end trial, Lord Zuken. I'm not sure how aware you are. Oh, there, I just died. I was gonna cover the Resident Evil game as well. I was going to cover the Resident Evil game tonight as well, but I'm not gonna have enough time by the time I'm done with this game, unfortunately. Like I said earlier, I was just too tired to start early today, unfortunately. Thankfully, I'm only doing this just to unlock the new variant engine and just complete the quest off from my journal, and that's it. You're not forced to do these things. You're not forced to. Oh, and I just failed. Oh yeah, and these mechanics. If you don't know these the first time, well, unfortunately, yeah, you're gonna die. That's why that's okay. Just like in Resident Evil, I'm probably gonna die who knows how many times because I don't know the mechanics. But eventually get used to it. You will eventually get used to it. And the game, that new Resident Evil game, it does have does have a couple of difficulty levels. Casual, and 2 other difficulty levels if you're experienced with Resident Evil. So, I'm gonna be playing that game on casual because I never played a Resident Evil game. I mean, I can watch videos all I want on Resident Evil, but you have to actually play it for yourself. Yeah, it's been hyped up, Rukzukin. The only thing I gotta say about the new Resident Evil game so far is the Grace character. You know, the one that you see in the artwork. She's supposed to be an FBI agent, but she's very nervous for an FBI agent. Now, without spoiling too much so far, there is trauma. She has trauma because of and that causes her behavior. But I'm not sure. Still, I'm pretty sure as a. Hold on a second. I'm trying not to die here, and I just died. But yeah, if you're a law enforcement figure, you should not be that nervous. Yeah. I mean, I know that even if you don't have PTSD before you become one with the law, I don't know. The way it's portrayed so far is kind of, eh. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind characters having weaknesses, but the way it's portrayed, it's eh. We're about halfway through on this boss fight here. Yeah, I don't always completely believe the hype in a game. Even if it's overwhelmingly positive, I have to play it for myself. Or you watch gameplay footage of it. I have seen what the previous Resident Evil games are like, but I have not played them personally. So I'm kind of caught up with the story in a way. Surprised they can't do variant raids, but that's okay. We're about halfway through this boss, and that's it. And we got if you want to stick around, Rubzukin, we got a comic relief story we're gonna do. We're gonna be doing a comic relief story in a moment. Yeah, this game has this comic relief story that's been going since 2013. So I don't know what kind of comedy we're going to be getting this time around, but that was also released yesterday. And I don't know about you, Rubzukin, but I've had several people sometimes come onto this little channel of ours, and they want me to see their art and see if they want me to pay them to do some work for them. Honestly, I'm not really that interested. Mainly because I've done everything. I've gotten the transition stingers and the backgrounds that I want. And it's really not really that interesting to me. Not much, doesn't really interest me that much. Not to mention the fact that AI can basically do the same job in a way, more or less. I mean, don't get me wrong, human artists will never get replaced by AI at all. But if you don't have the money for at least we can keep the fight going. I mean, when you don't know the mechanics, when you do not know the mechanics of this boss at all, you're going to fail. And the same thing's gonna happen in Resident Evil as well. I mean, I never played a Resident Evil game personally until the newest one came out. So naturally, I will probably be failing quite a bit until you learn its mechanics and its patterns and their behaviors. Even if I'm playing the newest Resident Evil game in its casual difficulty, you still gotta get used to, and you gotta know, you gotta know how to play the game, you know. So. And we gotta do this again. Thankfully, we're only doing this one variant dungeon run, and we're gonna be doing the quest after. We're gonna be doing the comic relief quest after this. I mean, I remember doing a DC dungeon run a long time ago. Eventually, you do get used to the mechanics, but that takes repetition, just like Resident Evil. You're just gonna have to play it over and over and over again until you beat it. But this is not but thankfully, this is not a high-end trial. I can only imagine how many times you're gonna do the high-end trials before you eventually succeed. At least the VC dungeons, you only have 2 bosses to do. The visuals for these mechanics are pretty interesting. Those were not present in the game in the past. So naturally, the more time goes on with this game, you get better. And I just failed. Of course, I did not make it to the circle in time. I was just 1 second, 1 second away from getting into the safe spot, and I died. Yep. Again, once you get used to the mechanics and what you gotta do, it is not that bad. And I missed that once again. You gotta know where. Yeah, when the game likes to do those things, where you have to be right there at that safe spot, or you die. It's an instant kill if you do not do that. You're not gonna know that the first few times, but that's okay. Thankfully, I only have to do this once. I'm not even paying attention to where the gems are. See, that time I knew where to stand. Well, almost, but still. The point is, you get used to the you get used to it eventually. Eventually. And we're not even halfway there yet. Okay. See if we can get them up. Of course I die as soon as I revive somebody. As long as the fight can keep going, that's what matters. As long as you're still in the fight, that's what matters. So this fight is not entirely unforgiving. Oh, of course. How much health do we have left? Oh, not even halfway there yet. Not even close. Thankfully, we're only doing one run of this. I am not spending 4 hours to do this. Oop. And we are finally reaching the halfway point if I don't die more. Yeah, we've been at this thing for like 20 minutes now. 20 minutes now. Of course. Sometimes following the leader can help you in this, but that's okay. I'm just spending as much MP as I can to keep the party alive, and that's what matters the most. Alright, we almost quarter left on this. Again, the more you see the mechanics, you kind of know what to expect. But it takes repetition. Time is something that you need to put in just to do even one run of this. Of course. Just I was 1 second away, and I didn't make it inside the freaking safety zone. Of course. Just 1 second away. 1 second away. Just keep the revive in there, just to keep the fight going. As long as the fight can continue, that's all that matters. Forget how many times you die, that doesn't matter. We're okay. 10% now. We might actually make it this time. Again, the mechanics do repeat themselves. Again, this time, for the first time, I don't die. At least I kind of got there in time. Just barely. Well, about time. About time. Thankfully, I had to do that run once. Yep, we did it. And it took like about half an hour. Okay, let's keep going. So just half an hour to do that. Hmm. I mean, in true Final Fantasy fashion, not everything is voice acted. Not everything. The character models and the faces, they all kind of start to look a little bit familiar. But every once in a while, they will try to put in some different faces, so it doesn't look completely repetitive. I mean, this is just a quest. You could repeat the thing over and over and over again. So that's not a big deal. You basically repeat it until you reach the end. Yeah, it took half an hour just to do one run. But if you do the boss enough times, you know what to do. Yeah. Yeah, these stories, I can't imagine there is an end to some of these things if you decide to put the time into them. But thankfully you're not forced to do them. And this game, for being over 10 years old, it has gotten better with time. I mean, if you're gonna ignore the story for a moment, graphically this game still looks solid after 10 years. I mean, there is that Final Fantasy main game, Final Fantasy VII or something, that I have not had the chance to beat yet. But at least I am all caught up with this game. Oh yeah, the frame rate does go down if you got your graphic settings at a particular setting. You got lots of people here. I think the shadows definitely is the thing that causes the slowdown. I don't know how much better. I don't know how much better your computer will do in newer. Even if you have the current hardware right now, even if you got that many players, I think the game will still have slowdown, and there's not much you can do about it. I mean, look how many players are here just to unlock this thing. Yeah, we got it done. We'll be heading over to the, and we did it. We're gonna head on over to the Hildebrand quest soon. I don't think they released the, I don't think they released the, yeah, I don't think they have advance for that one. Nope. Ah, that's okay. We got what we wanted, and we are gonna be heading over to Solution 9 to do the Hildebrand quest. I wonder what kind of comic relief are we gonna be getting this time? I have no clue where Izuna is. So yeah, the normal version, I don't think the advanced is available. So, the Hildebrand quest. What kind of comic relief are we going to be getting this time around? That's the next thing we're gonna do. What kind of misadventures we're gonna have this time? A need for speed. Yeah, I remember this. So yeah, no trials yet. No trials. Maybe another batch has to be released. Alrighty. I was hoping you'd drop by. Took a bit of doing, but I was able to widen the crack I made in that storage device and yank out a couple of new scraps of data. So, Rugzukin, are you prepared to watch some comic relief? If you're still there, well, here we go. No voice acting, though, but I think visually you'll enjoy this. The first file just happened to be a record of Cornelian's procedure. Seems the bastard's soul was poured into one of those clock-type monsters. They've got an annoying talent for mimicking shapes and faces, which is exactly what Cornelian took advantage of when he tricked us with his fake Kimaka. Oh, here we are again. Never fear, Inspector Hildebrand is here. The other file I pulled had details on yet another monster-feed criminal. This mook was nabbed for repeated vehicle violations, running his air-wheeler too fast, making reckless maneuvers, endangering others. That sort of thing. According to the data, he's running around in the body of a cactuar now. Well, we're finally gonna get some Cyberpunk chases in a way. You know what's disappointing? Cyberpunk 2077. I know you can mod the heck out of that game to make it better, but when it comes to the story, even the expansion, it was disappointing. I honestly do not care how good the world looks. If there isn't much story to tell, it's just meh. But anyway. Judging by what we've seen of that researcher's schemes, that dispatched the prickly speed demon somewhere outside the dome. Where? Rejoice, my detective, for I, Hildebrand of Aquarius, come bearing the very direction you seek. And Hardy Boy is just straight from the mouth of the real Kamaka that an ambulatory cactus piloting a flying contraption was supposedly observed streaking through the sky unsilently bearing. I wonder what kind of a cutscene we're gonna get with motion capture on a vehicular chase this time around. I wonder. Alas, despite hastening to confirm this sighting, our interpret sheriff arrived too late to see the Neil-covered individual in question. The report was summarily dismissed as fanciful imaginings of inebriated townsfolk. The insistent chirp of veteran instinct nonetheless impelled me to investigate. Thus did my faithful assistant and I venture further south to question the colorful clouds of Tuliodul. Tuliolo. Yeah, sir. Terrifying to sober witness the secrets of an airborne succulent. They said it was moving at an incredible pace. So astride a vehicle like the one the mechanical invaders had ridden. His last seen zipping past a dirigible before vanishing into the clouds. The sound. Let's send your soldiers right on air-wheelers. So unless there's another flying cactus out this summer, I think you have our man. Good work. But almost too good, in fact. Over there. Is that a new case of spy? Hardly had to bait the hook. You're the real deal, alright. Although, come to think of it, I don't know why anyone would bother impersonating either of them to begin with. At least the theme's solid enough. But if we're serious about catching this guy, we'll need an air wheel of our own. Come on, there's a shop nearby that does custom jobs. We're finally gonna be doing something more cyberpunk in this game. It's really rare to visit some of the previous areas. Like, the areas in Heavensward and even Stormblood, we hardly visit those. Unless it's for plot reasons. Oh, I could go for a nice bowl of custard. Did he say do custard jobs? This is the place? I used to be a regular here, but I ain't been back in a while. Let's see if they still remember me. You can tell instantly if there's motion capture, or it's just pretty basic, you know, animations. Well, look who the wind blew in. You know, I've come for my steed. That bad old scrap heap. It's been rusting on my grass for so long. Doubt I could manage a slow throttle, let alone a gallop. Happy to give a tune-up if you got credits to burn. But I'll need to supply some parts. And I have filled those batteries for going to call at minimum. The chronometer's ticking. I'll see if I can get my hands on a battery. But I can ask you to track down the coil. These softball dopes with no suspension spring from an anti-gravity gimbal. But you, I can trust to find the right part without cracking under the pressure. Got my number, do you? I was telling it like it is. I know a tough egg when I see one. Arnie seems desperate to get his air wheel up and running. Let's look at you a tip. You want to call quick like, then salvaging the rides of a defective Sentries is your best bet. I'll even lend you this handy gadget to help you out. Set the distress signal on the west side of Alexandria, and you'll soon have Murder's Mechanical Company dismantled for parts. Okay, so the quick fetch quest. Why not? I'll take these two along with me on a battery hunt. Good luck out there. I can't believe Guild Wars 2 is more unoptimized than this game when I first played that game a while. I mean, that was a social hub, by the way. I was barely cracking 60 FPS. Yeah. Okay. Over here. Okay, let's go. Probably a fetch quest, or maybe we'll get some plot here. I wonder if there's gonna be some new story bit that's gonna lead us to this part of, you know, who knows what kind of expansion or story we're gonna get. But I think we're gonna be going through that, maybe. I don't know. Or something else that we don't know. Who knows? Also, I did get my Chocobo finally leveled up to its maximum, to its highest level too. All it took was just treasure hunts over and over and over again. Again, it feels weird to have it all ranked up too. It feels really weird. Now you just have to wait for the game to... You just have to wait for the game to catch up. I mean, of course, there are side quests to do, but I don't have a sense of urgency for those. I wonder how many players are actually playing this game besides Steam charts telling us, because you can't play this game outside of Steam. So who knows how big the player count is. Yeah, a little fetch quest. Okay. Okay, it's time to go to the... Nexus Arcade. There you are. Any trouble picking up that coil? I think you can handle, I wager. As for the battery, I bought one easily enough. The problem was convincing the inspector and his gal to stick around after he caught a whiff of the tantalizing familiar. Long story short, they wandered off and I've come back. Suppose we have to go look for them, eh? Okay. Oh, cutscene. Nope, nothing crazy so far. Yeah, we got basic gestures. Oh yeah, and that other character is making a cameo too. Ever since, what, Endwalker? Is that a corpse? A smiling corpse? You need fret, detective. This Zabra zombie is an old acquaintance of mine. Allow me to introduce myself, good sir. I'm a proud member of the Gentle Deadman and disciple of Master Zombie Brand. I've been on the road seeking out new recruits for our merry moldering band. Said search is what brought me here and into the midst of this unexpected yet most welcome union. I don't usually hold with necromancy, but he seems harmless enough, so, we're done catching up. We got a case to work on. In actual fact, our conversation was almost entirely case-adjacent. Employing his nose for pestering fellows, this gentle zombie traced the stench of necromantic decay to the very facility in which I once slumbered. Right. Oh, yeah. That facility. Yes, I became fast friends with one of the reanimated researchers there. During the process of getting to know each other, he spoke briefly of the only person left alive after the incident. According to my new channel chum, all the lab workers perished when an accident resulted in a leakage of a highly toxic substance. All, that is, save for a single man who habitually wore a protective gas mask. Case Shockey is his name. He was second in charge after the overseer himself, yet disdained by his peers as a condescending know-it-all. They did, however, grudgingly recognize his passion for his work. Even after devoting a full day to official experiments, he would pour his remaining time and energy into some mysterious side project. And he was the sole surviving researcher, you say? Sounds like we finally have a name for our mastermind. Courtesy of the shambling undead, no less. No matter how many years I do this job. Well, thanks for that. To be of service, now if you excuse me, my new recruit and I have a coffee tour planned. Oh, how nice of you. No motion capture yet. So, that fellow was an honest-to-God's walking corpse, huh? Met weird folks in my line of work, but you always keep company with such oddballs. Well, it's a long story. Another long story to tell. But that was out of line. It's just, I reckon there are forces in this world you better not messing with. Just like the real Santa Claus. Anyway, let me take these passports and I'm gonna get my wheeler repaired. Shouldn't take too long. Alright, I'm back here to make sure it's running smoothly. You can see the magnificent beast in all his glory. Dave Hardyboy seems somewhat nervous. Decided to reclaim his pride and joy, perhaps? Oh, okay. Is that another Akira reference? Is that another Akira reference? Won't surprise me. Or would you look at that? What do you think? I call him Night Stallion. He's a custom job built for yours truly, and has far too much horsepower for the average mook to handle. Anti-gravity capabilities are standard, but when it comes to ground speed, he's between tweaked to achieve the highest possible performance. The trick is to install quick heating motor coils. But won't the increased heat compromise the magnetic field's integrity? You ask. Well, that's a valid concern. How the drive time responds completely different when you open up the throttle and... You, get those filthy hands off my ride. Is that a Duke Nukem reference? Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Duke Nukem could easily do that. Whatever. I really thought the enhanced jubilated steel would have touched a silent interval. So, you've had this amazing machine this whole time. Why haven't you been riding it till now? So yeah, Demon, are you prepared to watch some comic relief? Welcome back. So, this game... This MMO has a comic relief side quest that's been going on ever since the re-release. We actually got motion capture here, so who knows what kind of comic relief we're going to be experiencing here in a moment. So here we go. No voice acting though, unfortunately, but you can read the text. Ah, so fresh-faced innocent. Spitting image of my assistant. I'll never forget the day I hung up my spurs. It was right after I caught Cornelian. Is that a Terminator reference? Been simmering in thoughts of vengeance, to burst my shell at any moment. Yeah, it kind of is like Terminator, sorta. Yep, Akira reference right there. Yeah, how many times have you seen that in the last 20, 30 years? Yeah, that's an Akira reference again. Big house is too good for Lex the Crank King. See you in hell, your majesty. Is this gonna be like John Wick, where you actually get to see a killing blow, or no? No, lame. Shouldn't have pulled the trigger. You had the chance. You got soft, hardy bolt. Oh, please. If that was John Wick, he would have pulled the trigger immediately. But I digress. John Wick would not have hesitated if that was the case. This flashback exceeds the legal length. Laced with the Elizabeth embellishment, no doubt. Stick to the facts. I wish I could get that get up. Can we not have that get up? No. You gotta admit, the presentation is really good, by the way. Breaking the fort wall and destroying the fort wall. That's awesome. Cut to the chase, my assistant was avenged. Slinging the Crime King into the slammer took me off the boil. Ran cold, which just ain't my style. Yeah, when I saw that bike, were they gonna do another Akira reference? Yeah. But now that the Carnelian's on the streets again, it's time for me to get back in the saddle. They were saying that Cocktropunk flew over Thule, whatever. Then blew past the dirigible on his way south, right? What kind of territory we're looking at? Tropical. Tropical, to say the least. Lots of big trees are there. Then let's make this Yaktail's dirigible landing our starting point. Take that stallion and meet you there. That's lame. We can't have a mount. We can't do that. No. Lame. And now it's time for the final one for this series of side quests. Wish I had a shiny air wheel like the detective. Finally able to keep up with the inspector. The final one for the time being. Right, we shall find our way to this cocktail dirigible landing. See you there. Pretty sure it was Jacques' tail, Inspector. Okay. Well, time for the final quest. There is usually a lot more. There usually is, there are a lot more side quests in this game, all over the map, but I haven't done them all yet. No Alliance raid yet, but that's probably gonna be coming in the latest patch or something. That was my first time aboard a dirigible. So different from an airship. You've said airship with just its own mean of propulsion. Sailing through the air is a lovely way to travel. Ah, you made it. Even this jaded old grumsh should appreciate that view coming in over the treetops. Anyway, I talked to the locals while you're waiting for your lot to arrive. And I felt that seems Mr. Cactor flying down to the lower forests. Told the biggest place out that way is a settlement called Mamook. So that'll be our next destination. Sit over there, walk the streets, ask some questions. You know, the usual. Very good, detective, but what's become of your wondrous wheeler? That stone would draw more attention than I'd like. I'll use the autopilot function to call him if I need him. But otherwise, I'll make do with my own 2 feet. We have large monster mounts, but sure. Okay. Big travel. Such a dense population of forest giants. I'm reminded of the 12s would. It's awfully dark here beneath the canopy. That must be Mamook. They build things different down here, huh? But we ain't got time to admire the architecture. Spread out and find someone who's clapped eyes on that cactuar. Okay. I remember doing a lot of rules of 3, even on A Realm Reborn. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, and all the society quests are done too. So far, no aligned society quests yet, but they usually patch that in later. Usually I don't know when they're gonna finally patch that in. But it's nice to be all caught up, you know? The lighting in this game is pretty good. Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. So, what's the wrap? We got some information. The testimonies I gather were very much the same. There is a cactuar racing around out there. That much can be certain. But if he's making stops to bag meteorite fragments, then this ain't no simple joyride. Talk to me. Something about those rocks I don't know? Well, we got something. Some kind of special etheric radiation, eh? Haven't pieced together Kijaki big plan yet, but he seems real interested in those space stones. Which means we got a good chance of finding a spiky goon by sticking at the spots where the meteorites are. If we nab the cactuar, we can make him lead us to the researcher, and to Cornelian. When I say us, I mean me and the Night Stallion, of course. Once we find him, the rest of you won't be giving chase without an air-wheeler. I need no such contrivance. His legs have been conditioned by intensive chocobo-bearing exercise regimen. Of course. Well, good luck to him. Still think he's a weak-willed punk, but I can't deny that uncanny body of his is made of sterner stuff. Let's get on with it then. I hear there's a few good-sized meteorites alongside the road that leads out of town. We'll start near the end, near the end, and hope the Mook puts in an appearance. Cool. At least they improve, you know, the walking, because it's very stiff. They did not make any circles or work in curves. Yeah, the NPCs in this game in the past never walked in curves. I remember there's one cutscene where you're not supposed to see them stop walking, and they completely missed the camera angle there. But that's just one oversight. Okay. Ugh, that idiot inspector. Took off like he had the case all sewn up. But running fast didn't find him a lead, did it? And here I thought he was onto something. That way, Nashu, I think we can be out to something. Yep. What kind of shenanigans are we gonna be getting into this time? Usually at the second quest on these patches they release, they usually have something to show off. I wonder what we're gonna be getting this time. Of course, we had that Akira reference. Is that Dolt trying to keep out of sight or not? Okay. It's almost time to eat. Is that cameo character still watching us? Maybe it's somewhere here that I can't see. Whatever. No sign of him here either. On to the next meteorite. Detect a hint of criminality. In that direction. Onwards, Nashu. We mustn't let the dictator beat us to the punch. Alright, we might actually find something this time. Alright. We might finally have something this time. Usually rules of 3. What kind of grand scene we're gonna get this time? I say, these bananas are really quite good. Truffle tacos. Ugh. A good murder and egg right about now. Alright. Anything this time? We might have motion capture this time, which means something interesting might happen. Yeah, we might actually have something happen this time. Look out, stand aside, or there's 1,000 needles in your eye. Make way for the unmatchable catchable spike. Yep. Sure. This one looks right for the smashing. Hold it right there. I'm gonna need you to top off that air wheeler. So, what kind of a chase scene we're gonna get here? You must be the blowhards I was warned about. Think you can give orders to the sucky speedster? My ride is maxed out with black market mods, and there ain't no one fast. Keep up if you can, slowpokes. Where have I heard that before? Yay. If that's the way it's gonna be, challenge accepted. To me, Night Stallion, it's time to burn rubber. Right behind you. Right behind you, Inspector. Yeah. Damn it, this town's at full gallop and I'm still trailing. See, you require my assistance after all. What the hell, you caught up me on foot? Fine, change of plans. Where's my damn Phyton? I'll just tweak the weapon's elemental settings like so. You steering me right into thrust, the fiend will soon learn a harsh lesson. Nothing outruns a fired up Manderville man. Yes. Gah. Gah. Are they actually gaining on me? Well, come on then, I feel the needle for speed. We did it. Victory is ours. And in classic Manderville fashion, they blew out. Yup. Can't believe it. My undefeated record, my legendary win streak. It's over. And yet, I feel strangely content. Enough. You win. Just hand me over to the coppers and be done with it. That easily? That was convenient. That was convenient. So the researcher forced you to work for him, like they did with the other fiends. That's right. Told me to smash and grab the meteorites from the forest, but not what he wanted him for. All this way to nest some delinquent goon and no leads on Kajaki or Cornelian to show for it. Not to mention my beautiful rat getting trashed. Trashed! That was on you, Hildebrand. Perhaps we can try running together next time. Oh, if you're looking for Kishkaki, I know exactly who will be. Waiting for my meteorite delivery offer by the cliffs southwest of here. Oh, convenient. Why did you say that sooner? But Cornelian is there with him. You won't escape me this time. I'll leave this criminal cocksure into your custody. Putting these appearance aside, there's a man's soul within, so please treat him accordingly. Now let's follow the detective to these cliffs, shall we? Let's ensure these villains are served a gentleman's justice. Oh, yes. I mean, I think that people that made this game were waiting to do a chase sequence finally. Would I watch that chase sequence again? No. But it's fine. It served its purpose. I mean, that chase sequence was nothing groundbreaking, but for this game, it's fine. Okay, are we gonna get another motion capture scene here? We're not exactly gonna catch up to the main villain just yet. You smell it? The scent of criminality's in the air. Really happy heart. Okay. Shh, we hear them up just up ahead. Let me get a drop on it before I'll go barging in. He's late. We must assume something went wrong. These meteorites will provide the perfect energy source. I prefer to harvest a surplus. It is too great a risk to linger here. Freeze, mage. You so much as twitch your lips and I'll light you up. No, I've worked too hard to give up now. So, what now? He's getting away. You'll keep. I got the one I want. But I don't think you can just escape. Never again. What's that bug have to do with this story? Yeah. Again, if this was a John Wick story, he would have been shot by now. But whatever. Murder's not the answer, detective. The chameleon go. So he can't be beaten by conventional means. You almost had me. Not for this bumbling fool you tolerate. Soft as ever. Oh, Cornelian, you should know John Wick. We'll see a resolution to the story eventually. I don't know if the next batch is going to be the last, but hopefully it's eventually going to draw to a close. You and me are done, Ellebrand. Get out of my way. Even if he had shot, I don't know if that would actually done something against him. My recent inadequacies as Inspector appear to have earned the detective's ear. It was you he turned to assistance for this case, and yet it's only fitting you remain his side for the duration. Oh, of course. Of course. Meanwhile, nationality will persist with our independent inquiries, of course. Yeah. I hope the next batch is going to be the last, because this one is starting to drag out just a little bit too much. Also, we'll be doing a quick performance check with Resident Evil, just see if it can push to 65 FPS. Yeah, how much resources am I using right now? We're good. Sorry for the sudden exit back there, but that yolk for brains had me steaming. Yeah, that's not a good answer. I'm just gonna stay quiet. No words that need to be said there. Not very sneaky, but whatever. love of... I see you skulking over there, soft-boiled. Isn't this a delightful spot to serendipity? We were simply following the villain's trail. Look how we all run into each other. Completely by chance. Well, we're only passing through after all. We shall apprehend that masked master by their own true mythology. You shall see, of course. Can't really blame him, especially with the backstory. So what kind of what outro cutscene we're gonna get for this batch? Who knows? I want you in the case with me from here on out. Against a proper guide beyond the dome, as well as being tougher than yours truly. No one else fits the bill. You might need to cool your heels for a bit while I work on salvaging more data. But Hardyboard always gets his fuzz on the end. See you around. What kind of an outro cutscene we're gonna get this time? Meanwhile, elsewhere... I think we're finally reaching the end. The next batch will probably be the last. Who knows? Okay, this is different. Ahaha! At long last, my scheme has come to a fruition. Longer must I endure the company of incompetent colleagues. All is in readiness. The replication of my brilliant mind is at hand. Never again will I be known as the Caniluca Corpus' second best. My name shall ring across the lands, carried far and wide by an army of unrivaled geniuses. Double cross? No. Something amusing? Oh, just the fact you repaired a device capable of miracles, yet your plans for it are so very banal. You dare mock me? Ah, the classic double cross. What a bore he was. Now to realize a dream worthy of this marvelous technology. It kind of looks familiar, but... Kind of a film noir scene we're gonna get this time. Detective Hardyboiled, they call me. Cool and tough as a cucumber wrapped in old leather. I'm a man who prefers his own company. Today's egg was overdone. I let the pot boil and boil. A match to my mood. They say you can't make a cracked shell whole again. Maybe it's time I smashed it completely. Okay, this is different. Nice visuals. Core, those are some troubling thoughts. Can anyone save Detective Hardyboiled from himself? But the inspector can. With us on the case, a happy ending is never far away. And that's it. And we're all caught up. I mean, sure, there are other side quests that I gotta do, but I got what I wanted. And just in time. Before I head off for tonight, we're gonna do a quick performance check with Resident Evil. I can't do 80 frames per second as much as I like to with Resident Evil because apparently the GPU is running overtime. But can I push it to 65 at the very least? Can we push it to 65? As much as I would have loved to make some progress on this game tonight, unfortunately, I could not start early today. But tomorrow we will have time, for sure. Tomorrow we will have time to do this game. Yeah, we're just doing a quick performance check on this. So it's not going to be 80 frames. It's going to be 60. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to the settings here. And image is going to be 120, but it's actually going to be 65. 65. So it should not be too bad, right? Should be too bad. I mean, 65 should not make my GPU run 100%. So 65 should be enough. Yeah, 65 is enough. What is this? Can you change camera angles at any time? Where are the controls? Can you change camera angles by a press of a button? Or you have to do it at the menu? Nope. Nope, you can't do it. No, there's nothing here. No. Yeah, 65 FPS. 65 FPS is enough. It's nothing too much, so that should result in like a little smoother turning. So yeah. So yeah, we can do this. The GPU does go up to about 80 to 90, but 65 should not be too bad. Yeah, 65 is more than enough. At least is more than 60. Yeah, that's perfect. We'll do this game tomorrow and see if we can make some progress on it. I was hoping for today, but unfortunately, by the time it's finished with Final Fantasy, that's it. So, well, anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Resident Evil tomorrow and see if you can get some progress done. At least I'm playing something that's not, multiplayer, PvP for once. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow.